Hello, and welcome to Automat Live Coding. Let me do the standard introduction first. On this stream, we are writing Automat. Automat is a tool that can basically do stuff on your computer. It contains a list of parts at the bottom, and then you can put those parts on this canvas here, and you can hook them up together. So you can create it's actually going to be hard. I can create a sequence of objects that will press a left mouse button, that will hold it for 5 seconds, and then we'll release it. I will add an initial delay of 5 seconds, and let's see how this works. I fire this up. I will be moving my cursor here, and you can see that, yeah, it grabbed the window, it holds it, and in a couple of seconds it releases it. It's I don't know how it's actually properly called. It's a direct programming environment. It's a programming where you can just, wire stuff together, and it happens. And it happens in real time. So if I can actually interrupt the program mid-execution. It's not an issue. So this is Automat. And today I have an announcement to make. I have been setting up a Steam account, and on this Steam account there is an Automat, Steam version of Automat. It's still in the process of being kind of developed. There is no art whatsoever. But we now have a page on Steam. It's going to go live in a couple of weeks, maybe before the end of the year, hopefully. This is why I'm trying to fix all of the bugs that are in Automat, so that we can release something that people can use on Steam. The stream started late today because I was writing this description here. It's a very lengthy elaboration on why Automat exists. It's probably the longest and most honest piece of writing about Automat that was created. And I think it's fitting that it's on Steam. Steam is really the place where the users of Automat are. The people who play games, they don't check GitHub, they don't check Hacker News, they check Steam. And there it is. Automat has a nice categorization. It is an automation game. Surprise. It is an idler, so you can leave it alone. It is a clicker. Well, it is kind of a clicker. It's a hacking game. It's a game about hacking. It's a utility and it's a simulation. I think this is a perfect set of tags. There are actually more which are hidden. I think it describes Automat very well. Now, the inspiration for the Automat release on Steam actually comes from Dwarf Fortress. If you're familiar with Dwarf Fortress, it's a rather old game. It was released for free. It wasn't open source, but it was freeware online. And the one thing about Dwarf Fortress that frustrated most of its users was the glacial pace of development. It was developed by essentially two people who were writing the game, and they were writing it very carefully, very slowly. New feature was usually developed for like a year or two before being added to the game. And those are small features, incremental features that increased the depth of the game, but waiting 2 years for a new feature in a game, it's crazy. And one thing that the Dwarf Fortress did to escape this slow development was a Steam release. They actually published a Steam version which you can buy in parallel to the free version that they have on their website. And I think this is the same thing that we can do with Automat. So the version on Steam, it can actually be useful in pushing the development of Automat further ahead, faster, much faster. Managing this is a little bit of work, but I think it could be worth it. The worst thing that can happen is that it's going to waste a couple of weeks or months of development. But the best case scenario is that it will actually make some money. We will hire some people to work on Automat full time. Okay, so that was one thing. Automat Steam release is coming up. Now, there is also the topic of today's stream. The topic of today's stream is something subtle that you may have seen already when I showed the Automat for the first time. Let me restart it. When it opens up, you can realize that, hey, those objects are transparent. Where are they? Yeah, there's an issue with texture loading. I think when we are rendering this stuff, we are scheduling each object to be rendered in parallel. There are a couple of threads which are recording commands, and I suspect that those objects at the bottom, they are probably recorded first, and they properly decode a texture and draw it. Those objects here, I guess they are being scheduled in parallel, so they are not... They assume, they see that, oh, this texture, it was already loaded by the other thread, so let's reuse this texture. But the texture wasn't yet loaded, so they render as transparent. That's my theory of how and why this happens. And I had an elaborate plan of fixing this by tracking the lifetime of textures, how Skia basically does the lazy loading of textures, and how it basically tracks the references. However, I don't think this is the right solution, because most of the textures that Automat has, you can see them here, most of them, interesting. Most of them are used to render the initial window of Automat. Like this texture, it is used. It is part of this object here. So it has to be decoded on the first frame. This one as well. This one, this one. This one not anymore. We are not using this one, I think. This one has to be decoded, this one. Actually, you can delete those. This one has to be decoded because it's part of this... See, this object here. All of the registers, they have to be decoded. Those roses, they have to be decoded because they are part of this. So all of the clever hacks, I mean this clever texture loading mechanism that we have, maybe this we don't need. Yeah, there are a couple of textures we could get rid of. But the vast majority of them, they are used in the initial frame being rendered. So there is probably no point in having this mechanism of clever on-demand decoding of compressed images. We can take all of the compressed images at startup and just decompress them all and load them into GPU memory and have this problem out of our heads. In the future, when the number of objects in Automat grows, this is when we will have to restore the lazy loading of textures. I think I think it will be beneficial for the development speed to actually not worry about this right now and to leave this problem for future us. So this is what we are going to do today. We are going to remove the clever texture preloading infrastructure. We are going to replace it with less clever but more consistent load time decoding. Maybe I will add some tracy kind of tracking for the decoding time. Yeah. We have a lot of assets. Yeah, the OCR neural network is the largest. Everything else is peanuts. Maybe this is also decently large. Okay. Those are small things, like nobody's going to care about a couple of kilobytes. We will clean this up when the time comes. Okay, let's fire up the editor and let's get to this. So conveniently, we already have a class that handles images. It's called resistant image. It's this one. And we could probably add some kind of tracking for those textures. Yeah, instead of deferred from encoded data, I think we should do it differently. In Automat CC, I think to load a texture properly, in Skia, we need to use this GPU-backed, graphite texture. Let's look for all of the methods that can be used to load graphite textures. Promise texture from, what is this? Okay, so this is how we can give Skia a fake texture. We can tell it, look, this is an image, you can use it, but the texture can be generated lazily by us. It's nice. I think internally Skia uses something similar. This is probably an API for hooking into this lazy text generation process. It's nice that there is an API for this. Okay, so we are just going to call texture from image at program load time, essentially. So we need a graphite recorder to do it. Let's look for recorders. Seem to be using this acquire canvas a lot. And then we call render frame. If I remember correctly, this is the pack frame function. It's very large. It is complex. This one has to be complex. And this is probably... Oh, this is the on draw.
TP Chica says,
Hello.
Hey. I think we can just do this at startup.
I gave Klein a shot in this code. 10 line change 1 cent.
Yeah, local models, this is the way.
$15 token usage brought by.
Was it at least a hard change? Did it actually do something impressive?
Sefa Book says,
Hey everyone.
Oh, hey, Knight.
CP Checker says,
Same thing with continue was like Onek tokens. Prompt was initialized documentation with MD book and docs.
And looking at this from cost-benefit perspective, 1 cent for something like that would probably make sense, but it's annoying. Pay for everything. Technically speaking, the Claude subscription that I'm paying for is probably more expensive than one change per 1 cent.
Claude is 22.9, something like that on 25 tax rate. Can I block my Mistral AP key in Z?
I think so. Yeah. So in each of those persistent images, we will have an SK image. So the first thing is when those persistent images are created, this is a constructor.
Biggest problem with AI currently is that it's not optimized for local usage.
Be right back. But the agents should be good at using the shell. Decode image. I'm not going to do this. Defer from encoded data. Use SK codecs. So, AVIF decoder? Oh, this is interesting.
I really confabulated Z was available for Windows. And looks, my confabulation was correct.
Yeah, they launched like 2 weeks ago.
I remember checking on Monday. I could get the page to load correctly, even though they said they have updated it to facilitate necessary changes.
Maybe I will keep this lazy decode image. So what I would like to have a static function here. It's going to be just called preload textures, and that's essentially what it's going to do. It's just going to preload all textures.
BW, have you tried Codestral?
Codestral? No, I did try Devstral. And Devstral was actually alright. I haven't been doing much with it, but maybe I will. I probably should. To use it, one important thing, you cannot use Olama. Olama is terrible. This only works with LM Studio. Olama probably has some different format for input and it confuses the devstral. I don't know about codestral.
Codestral is a bit unpolished currently, but is fast as heck. Might be Cero's setting making it feel unpolished.
Felix Inlex says,
Hello, everyone.
Hey. It's always strange to me when a model works worse at temperature 0. Sometimes this happens like long time ago when I was training like character level neural networks. At temperature 0, sometimes they fell into this stuttering loop where they kept repeating the same thing over and over and over. And there were two ways of escaping this. One was temperature, but temperature was leading to just worse like results. The model was just more random. There was another technique that also worked. It was speculative kind of decoding. It was when you instead of taking the most probable token that the LM recommends, you take it and you do a beam search. So you recursively ask the LLM to generate more tokens, and you look, for example, at sequences which are like 10 tokens long. And after 10 tokens, LLMs, they basically know that stuttering is the wrong path forward, and that if you can look ahead, a couple tokens ahead, then that's another way to avoid stuttering. But I don't think this works for large language models. They are so slow. I don't think it's possible to kind of decode them speculatively for multiple tokens.
CP Chica says,
Oh, that would explain Klein's usage 1 cent per 10 lines.
Yeah, this is a very simple trick that allows you to just spend a lot of compute and make the model much smarter. It only works for tiny models though. Okay, so I need a collection of those. But the problem is those texture images, a persistent image, it moves through memory. So I construct it on stack, and then it can be assigned to a global variable. Oh, it's crazy. I think this persistent image
You are saying
has to be...
GPT-5 is just GP-tone run true itself 5 times?
Could be. So I can do two things. I can either implement move distractor and I can track the object movement through memory, or I can allocate it dynamically. But I think it's nicer if I track its movement through memory.
Felix Inleg says,
Off topic. I like that speech generator. Mwahaha.
Yeah. The voice, I think, comes from Warcraft. Oh, I think this is the voice of orcs from Warcraft. We have a couple other voices, by the way. If you check live, automat.org, there is this account section, and here you can change your voice. I will link it, for instance, to my Discord. Let's try linking this to Discord.
says, can't.
Test message.
Yeah.
The turtle.
The
It's my favorite.
This is Lazel from BJ3. It was
Yeah, let me get rid of them. Okay, I cannot use designated initializers anymore, okay. But I think this make from SK image I think this should be the constructor. Make arcs.
CP Chica says,
BW, my YubiKeys arrived ill. Just keep them on desk until I get bored and have nothing to do.
Did you get them like out of curiosity, or did your work ask you to use YubiKeys? Maybe no make from SK image.
At work, our PC can't power on unless YubiKey from either admin or employee are present.
Yeah. That's what I thought. So my wife works in game development, and they had this problem where somebody broke into their network, and yeah, now everybody has to use YubiKeys. They spoil the fun. It's much more exciting when, you know, you're never sure if somebody compromised your network. Why is this optional? This is strange.
My team is a bit special. We are also allowed to have custom PGX and KBX keys stored on USB drives just in case we bore kernel so hard that PC does not enter restricted 64-bit mode and manages initialize crypto module to unlock itself.
Yeah, I would be suspicious if my employer didn't give me root on my work laptop. I'm just looking up how to prevent copy on C++ class. There was a nice trick to do it. Maybe this is what we should do.
Imagine reaction of police officers when guy in my team called CyberSec officialist to come unlock his work PC.
That must have been a nice story. Okay, it seems we are actually not moving those objects at all. So once we construct them, they are basically constructed in place. It's probably using some copy elision or something like that. Nice.
But why do companies not give their employees root access to PC? I know why prevent HR from using browsers. So it's not prevent them from using internet, it's to prevent them from snooping true code.
Interesting. Because they can exfiltrate company secrets.
DeWitte says.
Hello.
Hey.
TPG Chica says.
I know there's a startup in Spain that replaced HR with AI.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Did it work? It's like robot HR. Crazy stuff.
I wonder how much are they paying new HR crew?
DeWitt says.
My friend lose his job. She working in HR and was replaced for AI, but don't worry.
TP Chica says.
I would be fine if middle management just disappeared in favor of AI.
I actually wonder, because the point of HR person is for them to be kind of clever, because they can be manipulated, and you can manipulate a HR person into doing stupid stuff. Like AI, yeah, like you can manipulate AI. You could literally hack the company that you work in.
DeWitt says.
I see stats
Yeah.
that sees for one workplace whose closet by IA is 1.4 workplace around AI draw.
That's an interesting statistics. The thing is, if you have AI running the HR, you can basically trick it into giving you raise the same way that you sneak instructions into, websites and scientific articles that can tell AI to do something with this place. Kind of poison the prompt of the AI.
TP Chica says.
Car is by laws required to run interviews. I guess that made sense in what, 1900s?
DeWitt says.
In using AI on interview, they using AI on ROH. It's AI versus AI war, XDDD.
TTS-ed says.
Don't use A on interviews. I know people who were fired not even 4 working hours into contract because of that.
TTS-ed.
What software you using for eyes tracking on?
So software is custom. And it's called you find it. It's called Streambot. And here there is a directory called Toby. And there is a tiny program that can do eye tracking. It basically talks with the device and prints this to std out, so that another program can control OBS. So my this icon for my gaze, it's actually a texture in OBS. I could swap it out for something different, or apply a filter.
Chat PLSG.
I could maybe make it more red. Yeah, it should be red. And now it should be white.
TTS-ed says.
Put mouse with no delay and cat with like 115s delayed.
Okay, here is the link. Sometimes the YouTube bot dies. I have to restart it. Should be back in a moment. Okay. This is kind of strange. How do I preload those textures? Okay, I will preload all of the images with MIP mapping, why not? Okay, this is actually going to create a copy of this texture, so theoretically that should preload all textures.
Low pass effect.
Let's do sync to CPU.
Low pass effect.
Let's see if this works. No, it broke many things. This is the macro recorder. Incredible. Okay, so what is wrong? If I don't call preload textures, will it still be broken? Okay, apparently doing this breaks it. Huh. I just realized I could use this global foreground recorder. This is still broken. Maybe MIP mapped is wrong. That would be strange. No. Okay, I think I need to have a recording active. I think this is what was wrong. I'm using this global recorder. Now I have to insert this back. There we go. All the textures are loaded. So this yes here, this is a lazy way to solve this. I think better way would be to pass no here and then create a semaphore that will block the rendering of the first frame until all the textures are loaded. Actually, I don't have to do that because apparently it's so fast. I want to see how long does it take to preload the textures. Okay, let's pause. This is it. 80 milliseconds. And this time was still used, but it was spread over 4 threads before. Startup time is pretty slow. I think the first frame is only shown after 2 seconds. We have those recorder threads, maybe we can use those. Actually, this upload stuff, it should be super parallelizable. Connect. I want to see if we are spending. Where are we spending most of the time? I am changing stuff a little bit so that it can be parallelized. Because this stuff, there is a mutex here, and it's kind of necessary. Maybe it's not necessary, but it will be hard to avoid it. So we have a lot of texture from image. And then we have submit. I'm using this global recorder. Maybe I don't have to. Okay. Okay, we'll use this hardware concurrency to spawn a bunch of recorders. Okay, our of the workers. Is going to have a recorder. I think this insert recording is probably thread safe. I hope so. think this should block. It did work. Let's see how much time it took. Okay, much less. You can see that, yeah, we are using a lot of threads now. Okay, I'm just going to reuse the current thread to also do this work. This is pretty nice. When it comes to threads in Automat, I think we could have a global worker pool. That would complicate some things. We wouldn't have nice thread names. I think submit has to happen in a single thread. So we can have multiple queues when some devices support this. I think this is probably acceptable. I can remove this sync to CPU. Connect. This should possibly make the submit faster and save a couple more milliseconds of the startup time. Now the submit, basically we just shaved 10 milliseconds of time, and it creates a data race with rendering, but this data race is fairly safe. It's not going to happen, it's not going to mess anything. It's a decent margin of more than 100 milliseconds before textures are used. There is a lot of startup time that I think we could avoid. It just crashed. Okay, this make recorder has to be called the main thread. Okay, this tuple has issues. come on. You can make it. If there was a type issue, it should have happened already. Okay, there was a type issue. I actually need to read it. So the issue is that there is a unique pointer which is stored in the lambda, and this makes lambda non-copyable. Insert recording, yes. Insert recording is also not thread safe.
TP Chica says,
I don't know when, but I might build my own documentation tool. In something sane rather than having to rely on Rust peoples and book, which bad if I'm being honest. But it just lacks some features like hard-coded highlight themes.
Yeah, documentation can be annoying. The fact that there is a documentation generator is already a problem potentially, because it makes it possible for the documentation to get stale, to get out of sync with code. I like having markdown files, or like some files always close to the code that can explain what the code does. I guess MDBook is something like that. I don't know it actually at all. But it sounds like it's markdown, so that's nice. Now stuff is single-threaded. I could also insert a mutex, I guess. What am I doing just to save a couple milliseconds of startup time? That's nice. You can see that some of the textures are super slow to decode, like this one, 100 milliseconds. But in the meantime, other threads are busy bees. They're loading stuff. This is what I like to see. And there was no crash. So we can see how this looks in the release variant. Connect. First of all, it looks nice. All the textures are where they should be. Like this data loop thingy. PC profiler thingy. Yeah. 20 milliseconds to preload all the textures. Turns out it's not... It turns out that starting a thread is very fast. Yeah, the final insert and submit don't seem to take much time. Especially because we are not doing the synchronization. Okay, so the last thread is going to reuse the... It's not going to start an extra background thread. And I see, we start. Just in time. So preload here, we are starting extra threads, and then we are working ourselves, including some waiting. There was one heavy job here. Okay, documentation. It's time to document all of the madness that we introduced. Okay. This is a nice comment. We have a nice, slightly cleaner actually API. It's a little bit convoluted. Renderer image, resistant image preload all. That is laggy. Interesting. Restart it. Do we need to have a decoder? I don't think so. Sweet. Cool. Time to meet all of those things. And let's take a look at to-do list. So this bug is fixed. I think I'm looking at stuff that is still to be done. I think I will end this for today. There are still more bugs that have to be fixed. I think those two are interesting for the next stream. And there is also the bug where mouse object has too many options. Maybe those two. It sounds like we should be able to fix them on Friday. Yeah. That was an annoying bug. It's nice that we don't have invisible objects anymore. Now we just have to fix the reordering issue. Okay, this is it for today. See you on Friday. Bye bye.